What's up? What's up?
You're petty, both of y'all.
Yeah, you just messed up my intro.
I know.
You did that on purpose.
Yep.
We are with Ashley and Antonio, Denmark, and today we're going to be talking about student-focused real estate. How they are building a business focused on their students from the top, trickling down to their real estate business. What's going on, guys?
Hey, Brian.
Yo.
Glad y'all are here. They told me before we got started that Ashley's going to be doing most of the talking, but I'm going to make sure I direct some questions over here. Antonio, Mr. Shades.
I'm ready for him.
Oh, you better be.
Give us the big idea. So give us like the structure of your real estate business, because y'all are doing so much stuff. And I'm so proud of y'all. Y'all been doing it for a decade plus, 15 years going on. It's got to be.
Damn, I don't think I ever said it out loud.
Yeah. Well, since 2009, April of 2009, so a lot.
16 years in real estate. Have done really everything. You've wholesaled, you've flipped, you're an ex-flipper, the lease options, and now you've been doing the student thing for the last few years. I'm really interested to know how things are structured and set up. If you can kind of give us like a big picture.
Oh, come on, Sonia.
Oh, I like how you threw that
Come
to me.
on,
That was kind
Sonia.
of sweet.
This is probably your first and last question. Go.
I doubt that.
You're right.
Things are structured with a provide value first, and I know it's not the direct question, but I'm gonna get to the direct question. We're structured to give value first, so everything we do is helping, everything we do is giving, everything we do is trying to help somebody overcome something. So our first structure is, a lot of people struggle with getting funding to do real estate. Mm-hmm. So one of the first things we do is we help people get business funding. Mm-hmm. And if they're not ready for business funding, we help them get their credit in line to get business funding.
Yeah, and then from that structure, we teach them the fundamentals when it comes to what's a deal, what's not a deal, how to rehab that deal, because the rehab is probably the heartbeat of it. You can find a deal. It may be in the sweetest area, but if you go wrong on that rehab, it's literally not a deal anymore. So understanding what's the deal, how to rehab it, and then what are my exit strategies? Like, what are my options? Because they're going to be one of three things. You're either going to wholesale it, you're either going to you're either going to flip it, or you're going to hold it. And when I don't mean wholesale, I mean hotel it more so. You're going to hotel it, you're going to flip it, or you're going to rent it after that rehab strategy. And whether you're doing Airbnb, you're doing lease option, like those are still forms of renting.
Sum it up. Mm-hmm. We help get funding. We teach them real estate. They get their first deal.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And where do you guys come into the picture as far as doing your own deals?
In 2024, was that last year? Mm-hmm. So in 2024, we restructured how we was doing our deals. So everything we do now, like I said from the beginning, is a helping mindset. So we are doing all of our real estate deals with our students.
Yeah.
So I would say last year we probably did 12 or 13 properties, but all 12 or 13 was with a student, and we did the project together.
Mm-hmm.
So I appreciate y'all giving me kind of like the holistic, because now I want to hit every one of these kind of one at a time. So you've got kind of like a top-down approach where you're helping you're bringing students into the fold, you're bringing folks into the fold, and we can talk about how you're doing that, what you're doing specifically. But you're bringing them into the fold. You're teaching them real estate fundamentals. You're teaching them how to find a deal, how to fund a deal,
foundations.
How, if you can wholesale it, you're teaching them what wholesaling is, wholetailing it, which is you're just buying it, cleaning it up, putting it back on the MLS, rehabbing it or holding it. You're teaching all these strategies. Still lease options, by the way?
Lease options is still our baby.
Okay. Yep. So you still have a lease option strategy. So you're just kind of teaching folks these different exit strategies, essentially. Mm-hmm. But it all starts with
the foundations.
The foundations, what would you consider to be the foundations?
Knowing a deal. Is this really a deal? Just because it's in a good area, does numbers work at the end of the day? If the numbers don't work from the beginning, it's no reason to get your emotions involved because it's not a deal. So that's what I consider the foundations: the analyzing it, making sure it's gonna sell and it fits what you have in mind. So
And no matter where you are, finding a deal, funding a deal, and structuring a deal is the most important things.
yeah, whether it's commercial, single family, uh,
Multifamily.
multifamily. No, I was thinking Lee, even big businesses. You got to know if you got a deal, how do you structure it? How do you make money off of it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like all of real estate starts with the deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
And obviously we want to be able to fund that deal, but we got to have a deal 1st. So what are some things that you kind of go through with your students just to try to find a deal? Like what are some ways that you're teaching them to try to find a deal?
There's only 3 ways to find a deal. Like if you're not a wholesaler, there's 3 ways you find a deal. You find it by referrals, telling people, hey, I'm an investor. I'm looking to do X amount of deals next month. Do you have anyone that needs help? Anyone that's headed into foreclosure, maybe bankruptcy? So referrals, part 1. 2 is the MLS. There's so many sweet deals
What's
that
the
are
MLS?
multiple listing services, and you're gonna find that's basically the listings that realtors have that they know what houses are available on the market that they list. So the MLS, referrals, and you threw me off. What's my last one, Tanya? Wholesalers. Like I want to go directly to the people who are marketing. So if a wholesaler is spending money on marketing, there's no need for me to spend money on marketing. I can just go directly to you. We can negotiate, and now we have a deal. If a realtor is spending money on marketing, I don't have to spend extra money. I can go directly to them. Hey, can we do this? Let's do it. Now we have a deal. The only time that I am doing extra is when I'm doing word of mouth, and that's your family, that's your friends, that's your community, your network. Those are the only 3 ways that you need to find it. Like cold calling, that's old. You don't need to do that, especially starting out. That's for more experience. But starting out, you could get a deal in literally 20 days if you're making offers just using those 3 channels.
To piggyback on what she said, that whole foundation and that model is based on who, not how. And what I mean by that is, in order to grow and scale and start to have success, stop asking yourself, how do I do everything? And ask yourself, who's already doing what I'm trying to do? So when she say agents are already wholesaling, agents are already marketing, wholesalers are already marketing. I don't want to find out how to market. I just want to work with the people who's already doing it.
They're already spending money on it. Why spend double?
I think it's an interesting approach, and I like it because a lot of folks out there teaching the first things. I think most people agree it all starts with the deal, but most people kind of have most coaches or instructors are saying, well, here's how you go find a deal. You need to get a list. You need to start marketing to this list. You need to start doing all these things with this list. It's like, let's skip that.
Let's skip that. And because we did the list, ours when we first started was, we're going to do the pre-foreclosure list. We're going to send out all these letters. We're going to make it look like we're handwriting them. And did it bring deals? Absolutely. But was it a lot more work? Yes.
Okay.
I can only do 1 deal at a time if I'm a newbie.
Right.
So it's no need for me to have 20, 30 deals that I can't do anything with.
So we're just going straight to the source, whether it's the MLS, working with a realtor, you're working with a wholesaler, word of mouth, or networking, or whatever it might be, referrals. Those are your ways. We're trying to find a deal, trying to get a deal locked up. So I'm sure you guys are teaching them how to analyze a deal at that point.
Yes.
So when you go to analyze a deal, are you kind of looking at exit strategies right then and there, or are you projecting what you may end up doing with it, or where do you go from there? If we have a potential deal, how are we analyzing this deal?
I'm gonna let Tonya go in detail, but let me say this first. The numbers on the deal tells you what your exit is going to be. So depending on, once you analyze it, what those numbers look like, it tells you, okay, is this something that I have cushion from a flip standpoint? Is this something that's a buy and hold? Or is this something where I need to fix it up and sell it to another investor? So your numbers are going to dictate what your exit strategy is at all times. You want to piggyback
I feel
on
like you
there?
answered the question.
Okay. Do you feel like I answered it?
Say the question again, Brian.
Now this, I'm just letting y'all know how challenging this is to talk to. Kind of, I'm throwing these questions out. And I'm getting this right
You
here.
forgot the question?
No, I should have what I wanted to do, but y'all are such a team. What I wanted to do is interview you, just you,
Okay.
and talk to you, and then come. I just want to talk to you, and then maybe we could all get together. But y'all are such a team.
Yeah, that's hard.
Do you finish in each other's?
Yeah. When it's in you, it's in you. It's not made up. It's not make believe. Our foundation is our foundation. Our beliefs are our beliefs. It's not my beliefs. It's not her beliefs. It's our beliefs.
Yeah.
So it's easy to understand each other. It's easy to finish each other's sentences because we are one.
Yeah. Talk about how, Antonio, the real estate business, your real estate business, has become really so student focused to where their deals are really your deals. You're kind of partnering on deals with
Yes,
the
sir.
students. And that's kind of your real estate business now.
Mhm.
Talk about that for a second. Like, why did you choose to kind of structure things that way?
Because people need help. Even after they join the coaching program, that rehab process is a monster. And
I get all that.
uh-huh.
Why aren't y'all doing just your own deals as well as? Why aren't you doing both?
So
instead of-
we still have a few deals that we have tenants in that are our own. We even have some that are waiting to be rehabbed, waiting for a time. It's hard to do all of it at one time. So it's hard to help. It's hard to do your deals, do their deals, and be available. Because it's just the two of us. Most people, if they have two coaches, they have two individual coaches. But it's the two of us. We got 5 kids. Like, time isn't a luxury.
To piggyback, our highest priority is family. So we understand that family is first. Family is going to get the most time. And then after that, real estate's going to come. So for us, we found it more enjoyable to keep family and not try to do 100 deals a year. Like, that's not the goal, is to make a whole bunch of money. We get more satisfaction out of helping someone do their first deal, complete that process, go through the rehab process, than doing our own real estate. And I know it sounds crazy, but that's kind of how we're wired.
I think just from what I've seen by kind of being in this coaching space since, I guess 2016, 17, so for a while, what happens is somebody has a successful real estate business and they decide they want to start coaching and teaching people how to do it. And then they go and put all their eggs in that basket. And this kind of gets their actual business ends up either getting diminished, or they can't be the coach that they want to be
and run the real estate business.
Because it's two different things. It's two different businesses.
Mm-hmm.
And I applaud you both for understanding that it's going to be hard to do both. But hey, how can we create some profit centers while we're basically partnering on deals with our students? Because just to have a student, and I've been there, I've done that, just to have a student and they're doing their own deal, it is a partnership, really.
It is.
Because you're having to teach them so much.
Especially from the beginning. Like, it's a mindset shift. It's a whole shift that has to change. It's like a battle, like you're fighting and you're like, hey, I promise you it's going to be okay. And it's just like, I don't think I could do it. You were good 2 minutes ago. Like, what happened? What was the change? So it's like, it's a psychology, like it's a whole session sometimes. And you don't have time to do your real estate business, kind of play doctor, play psychologist, play marriage, right? You don't have time to do that and yours, like, and you put yours on the back burner because at the end of the day, you're here to help God's people. Like that's what the ultimate goal is. So will my stuff be taken care of? Absolutely, it'll be taken care of. But ultimately, our prayers every day is, Lord, help us be a blessing to your people. It may be uncomfortable being that blessing, but that's our prayers, and we know we prayed for this. We got to do it.
To what's
Say
another
it-
word for
say it again.
piggyback?
No,
What's
say it
another
again.
word for
Just say
piggyback?
piggyback.
I was thinking
I
like,
don't
what's
wanna
the
say
over under
piggyback.
on the word piggyback?
I want to say a different word.
To add to.
To add to what
There you
Miss
go.
Denmark said is this was never what we wanted. We never wanted to be coaches because I always felt like coaches weren't doing real estate.
Mhm.
And I always said I never wanted to be the coach because I always felt like they was always selling coaching, but they weren't in the field anymore. So like I wanted to make it to where I'm still in the field doing real estate. I'm still looking at properties. I'm still meeting contractors. And if I'm not doing that, I don't want to coach because I want to be a coach that's actually doing the work, not just talking about the work, not talking about what I did in 2010 and 2011. I want to go through properties right now where the contractor knows me. The person who we bought the house from knows me. So that's a big staple of what we do and kind of why we structured it that way.
I remember in 2020, 2021, where we were all talking about this, and I know
Mainly you was talking
You were
about
talking.
it. Mainly you was talking about it. and
I was excited, but Antonio wasn't talking
I
at all.
wasn't listening. Mm-mm.
So what changed for you?
What changed for me was there's a couple different things. One thing is one of my mentors, after you have planted seeds, came behind you and watered those seeds, and he started talking to me about diversifying what we're doing and creating multiple streams of income because he told me real estate has ups and downs. And if real estate has a down, you got to be able to still survive if real estate is what you're going to do. So that kind of got me into it. But what really exploded it was seeing people's reactions to it. I'm a coach. I'm a football coach. And I used to think that coaching football was my passion. That was my it. That was my everything. But I realized shortly after starting coaching real estate that just helping people, coaching people, just being a vessel for people was what I really enjoyed. So like that's why the real estate program is what it is because we just like doing it. We'll do it for free.
We
Like
did it
we
for
were
free.
doing it for free. Like
Yeah.
it's not about money, and people say it all the time, but I literally had to make a post last night in the group to tell people the proper ways to communicate with us because I talk to everybody on Facebook Messenger all day, and if I don't respond, they feel like I'm treating them some type of way. Like I do not supposed to be talking to you. There's an email, there's a Facebook group,
There's a
there's
coaching
multiple
call.
ways that you're supposed to talk to us. But I just gotta have a hard time turning it off sometimes.
Yeah. And to your point, you said like it's not about the money. Like I'm not gonna say it's not about the money because at the end of the day, you can't do it for free, and we found that out the hard way. Like we were spending time, we were telling people, okay, do this, and then they'll come back the next month. What do you think I should do? Did you even do what we spent 3 hours on
For free.
for free?
For free.
So I have to remind Antonio that no, it is about the money because at the end of the day, you got to feed your family. Like you have to be
That's that balance right there.
you have to be your best self in order to take care of others. And if you're doing everything for free and you can't afford to do what you need to do, you can't take care of everybody else. So you got to be in the best shape. It don't have to be a whole lot, but it can't be for free. So yeah, that's our.
What are some other things y'all are learning about being a coach and being a mentor to other people? Because you just mentioned you have coaches, you have mentors yourselves.
Mm-hmm.
What's some of the bigger lessons you've learned about just coaching other people?
Having patience. Everyone gets it at a different time. Like it may take one person 5 minutes to get it, and it may take another person 3-4 months to get it. But just having patience through that journey. Like it's a process, it's a journey. You got different personalities, you got different needs. Some people feel like they own you because you're the coach, and we didn't understand that when you told us that. You know what I mean? Until it got to a point, it's like, well, I paid you. Well, let me explain to you what my hourly, what it costs for you to talk to me for an hour, so you can realize that wasn't even, you didn't even pay for real for the hours that we spent. This was just to get you in the door. So yeah, that's probably my biggest.
And I had a good answer,
And then
but I forgot it
went on a
because you kept talking.
tangent.
What was the question? So I can say my answer.
What have you learned about being a
Oh,
coach?
I got my answer. The biggest thing I've learned is it doesn't matter what you teach people. If their mental isn't right, it won't work. If they don't understand how money works, if they don't understand, if they don't have motivation to do what they need to do, if they are afraid to take risk, if their mental isn't conditioned that this isn't going to be easy, this is going to be hard. Like we go to work, a lot of people go to work for a whole year to make $40,000-$50,000, and you're trying to make $40,000-$50,000 in 3 or 4 months. It's not easy. And that
Or
mental capacity is the biggest thing that I've seen, that I can teach you all day how to calculate it, analyze it, flip it. But if you're mentally not ready to pull the trigger, if you're mentally not strong enough to handle it, it won't work.
to manage your money, that mindset is definitely a key factor. And just knowing that as you're growing, you're adjusting it. So the ways that you were taught before, all of that goes out the door, like, because you didn't get to this goal doing those things. I think another big shift is sometimes people wait like 3-4 years to get started investing in real estate, and as soon as they come in, they like, well, it's day 3, I should have a deal. You ain't have a deal them 6 months. Like, you got to put in time, you got to educate yourself, because the wrong move can cost you thousands. Like, it just the wrong move, and you don't know what's the wrong move until you get in a situation and you screwed. So just not rushing into it, um taking in that learning process, I think, is so important, and just not trying to speed through it.
Going back to the mental, what do you how do you coach someone through that? What do you say to someone, like let's just use for an example, um, I've had maybe a 9 to 5 job my whole life, past 20, 30 years. It's all I've really ever known. And now you're telling me I need to take risks. Well, I've got this 401k I built up. I've got this my savings I've built up, and you're asking me to put all this on the line. That this is everything I've worked the past 20 or 30 years for. What do you say to someone like that? How do you, and this is just one example. You could use a different example or another example. How do you coach someone through just the mental aspect, not even just the risk taking, the motivation? Maybe it's someone who has had a 9 to 5 and has never had to go and do something for themselves and go basically, eat what they kill, which is essentially what we're doing. Have to go out and get something versus it just being handed. What do you do to coach somebody through that?
I can tell you what I like to do. What I like to do is start by putting them around people that's having success. Start putting them around people that's having wins, people that's buying properties, people that's rehabbing properties, people that are doing what they want to do, and start pulling out their motivation. Because if you don't have a why, then you more than likely won't succeed to the level you want. But if you can start helping them pull out their motivation, pull out their whys. Why are you doing this? Like, you're not doing this kind of how you said, risk your whole 401k. No, I'm not going to convince you to do nothing like that. You're going to have to want to do those things because you want better for you. You want better for your family. You want better for whatever reason you want. Even you just want more money. Whatever your reason is, you got to be able to accept it, see it, and go get it. And my job as a coach is to show you the possibilities are there, to show you that it's obtainable, to show you that you have all the tools and resources you need to go get it, and to give you confidence to take action.
Yeah. One of the first things we do on our coaching calls, on our weekly coaching calls, is we highlight all wins, big wins, small wins, just so new people that are joining, old people who are coming back, you realize, I could do it. Like, yeah, I know this person, this person is touchable. Sometimes they feel like the coaches aren't touchable, but I know this person. I went to school with this person. I seen this person. Like, they did what? You structured that deal. How? You made money. How? Okay, let me make some offers. Let me get off the sideline. Okay, I'm ready. But seeing other people wins is important, and cheering them on, like, because you get excited cheering someone else on where it motivates you. Like, you know what? We're gonna talk about my win next week. We're gonna talk about my win next time. So yeah,
Sure.
it's the wins.
The wins, and then even what I've learned too is just having those people get little wins.
Yes, it's all about small wins.
If they can build up these little, I mean, just small things like
Momentum.
talking to a wholesaler, getting a buyer on your buyers list. Just
Did you
little-
drop your emails in Facebook? Like, just drop
It's
your
the
emails
small
in Facebook
wins.
to every wholesaler that has a property. Just drop
Did you
them.
make an offer?
Did you
Just make an
did you
offer?
look at a deal? Did you
Those
drive
are
by it?
all
They're
small wins
small
that can
wins.
help build your confidence for sure.
Yep.
And I know, as coaches, I understand that it's kind of almost your job to help people avoid mistakes. That's essentially why people would hire you. But inevitably, people are going to still make mistakes. They're either going to do something that you asked them not to do.
Absolutely.
They're going to not do something you told them to do.
Absolutely.
And then there's just going to be some things because it's real estate, and real estate investing in essence there is an element of risk.
It's
Things-
risky.
Things can happen and go awry. What are some of the bigger mistakes that y'all have seen either some of your students make, maybe you guys have made? What are some of those mistakes that maybe we can help other folks that might be watching this avoid?
Getting emotional about the deal is for me. Like, I can see something, especially in my earlier transitions, where I would walk in the house and I'm like, oh, this is perfect. This is the one. And I'll even start seeing, okay, we gonna stay here. Girl, why? Like, why you get so emotional about it? And even during the rehab, Antonia's like, all right, Ashley, get out because you'll run the rehab budget up. Because I'm like, okay, well, we need this. Okay, well, let's do this. So wouldn't it just look so much better? No, if it doesn't make sense from a number standpoint, don't do it, because you might not get that return that you emotionally feel. And when you walk away and you don't get any money for it, because essentially you're doing it to make money, you're going to be heartbroken. But ultimately, it's your fault because the emotions got involved. So for me, it's
So how do
the
you coach
emotions.
somebody through that then?
I tell them to look at the comps. So
What are comps?
for
Ashley?
comparables, houses that have sold in the area that are similar to the make and style of the year, make and style of the house that you are getting ready to renovate. So for example, I'm gonna use a student for example. In Avondale, we were looking at, one of our students had a house and he was like, man, I don't want a small master bathroom. I really need this house needs a big one with double sinks. So I'm like, okay, let's look at the comps. So I'm like, okay, this one sold for $400,000, same amount of square feet as yours, and it didn't even have a double sink. It had a pedestal sink. So let's not overly improve it to where the value's not there. Let's duplicate what's selling so that we can get through it faster, take our emotions out, because obviously these are selling in the area and it's a go. Sometimes it's, okay, I need to, in Norwood, we have one right now where the comps literally say a 3-1 works. Everybody wants to make it a 3-2. Why are we making it a 3-2 if houses are selling 3-1s? Not even 2-2s right now. Like, they're selling 3-1s. The area wants 3-1s. Let's produce it.
And what also helps you with that emotion is managing your budget.
Yeah.
Like, that's one of the 9 things that I have in my ebook that most newbies mess up on, is they don't track their expenses doing the project. They wait till the end to say, how much have I spent? It's too late then. You got to be able to actively manage your budget and make decisions based on your budget, not your emotions.
So if I spent money on a foundation that was never in my scope, I need to take it from somewhere else. And not, well, I just went over 30,000. What?
Not acceptable.
Yeah.
And those are some things that you kind of, as coaches, we kind of find out about.
After they've went over, yeah. Where they're like, I don't think I'm gonna make any money on this
But
deal. What
it's
you
a-
mean?
So let me say this: there's a telltale sign though,
Yes.
and I know my students gonna watch this. The telltale sign that they doing something they don't supposed to do,
They don't tell you.
they get
ghosts.
missing. They
They
get
get
ghosts.
ghosts.
They don't come around.
They
They
don't
don't
come
join
to
coaching
talk.
calls.
Yeah.
They don't come to property walkthroughs. And you like,
You were coming.
you haven't been around. What's going on with this project over
Yeah.
here? And then they start slowly saying, well, this is happening. Okay, what's the budget look like? Well, but telltale sign, they ain't showing up no more, and they got an active project going on. That means something ain't going right.
Yeah.
So you got to kind of go seek them people out to bring them back, because they get into a cocoon and they think that it's the worst thing in the world.
Or that they have all the answers and they're just rolling with it and making decisions too fast instead of slowing down the process.
Mhm.
And let's think about what we have. Let's analyze where we are because something's not right.
I'm gonna add to the.
You can piggyback.
No, I ain't piggybacking. I'm gonna go a different direction.
Okay.
I like that though.
Just go there before you forget.
Shut up. The other big mistake I see people make is they don't take the pre-construction phase serious.
Right.
And what I mean by the pre-construction phase is when you are looking for contractors, you are pricing materials, you are lining out the project. A lot of times we watch HGTV and they buy it on Tuesday. On Wednesday, the contractor's there knocking down walls. But that is not the right way to do it, especially if you've never done a deal before. Take 30 days, even though it might cost you an interest payment. Take those first 30 days and find the best people for you. It'll save you so much money in the long run.
You're talking about in the very beginning.
The very
When
beginning.
You don't know. You don't have contractors.
You don't have
Yeah.
contractors. You don't have anything. Don't just
Go with the
go
first
into
person
it
that
and
you
go with the first person, because there's going to be a lot of change orders. There's going to be a lot of things you don't see. And you got to meet so many contractors to even begin to feel the right one for you.
and to even talk their language. Like there's words that they use that you just don't know what it is. Like it's just like real estate. You're learning acronyms, you're learning terms, and you're like, well, what is that? But it's not until you meet a couple of them and they start saying, it's like, okay, that's what you really mean. What were you
Yeah.
about to say?
Because rehabbing is so it's so intensive. There's so much to it. There's so many different phases. There's the funding, there's the working with contractors, there's the pre-construction, there's the scope of works, there's managing the budget. And then now we got to sit here and make sure that the property looks like the comp so that we're not over rehabbing or even under rehabbing. Then we're dealing with the realtor. We're trying to get it listed. There's all these phases. I didn't even list probably 10 of them. There's all these phases of rehabbing. With your experience, because y'all been coaching for a while now, is rehabbing a good way to get started if I'm brand new at real estate?
Yeah, definitely. Because you're gonna get the most equity if you're buying a distressed house, you're rehabbing it. Now it doesn't have to be an
There you go.
extensive rehab. Like I don't recommend doing $100,000. I don't recommend going over $50,000 for your first rehab.
More like
Ideally,
30.
I want you to be at 25 to 35. Like I want you to be in that range because it's enough to give you confidence. It's enough where it's not too many moving parts going on. You're gonna paint, you're gonna do some flooring, you're gonna put some countertops on. Like you're gonna see a big impact, but not necessarily have the moving parts of a big impact. You're not gonna have to maybe do rewires, replumb, all new HVAC. Like I don't want you to do every single part of it. Just a little bit to get you started. Okay, you had success. Let's go to another one. Let's add. Okay, now we'll add another piece to it. But I think one of the mistakes that we see is they want to get a dilapidated house and then make it something beautiful, and this rehab will take a year when your money should be working for you. So you shouldn't be spending a year on it. Let's spend 3 to 4 months and then go to the next one.
In our experience, we call rehab basically sweat equity. Not saying you putting the sweat in, but if you can kind of cut through that learning curve of rehabbing, and you can build that equity, you're always going to have different options to continue to grow your real estate. So yes, like Ashley say, don't go do a huge project your first one. Do more of a cosmetic rehab. Or the best thing I always say is partner with somebody with experience.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's you got to do it for free. Partner with somebody. Meet contractors. Go through all the decisions that have to be made. It can save you so much time and money by just helping or partnering with somebody with experience to help you learn that curve.
Mm-hmm.
I like how you casually a few moments ago mentioned your ebook, which I didn't even know about till literally this morning. It's bad marketing on your part.
No!
He just released it. He literally
Like it came out this
sent out
morning?
no, it's not out yet.
Oh, it's
It's
not out.
pre-order.
Okay.
Yeah. But he literally just, I think
So
he's having a virtual birthday
Okay,
party.
yeah, no,
don't go too far. Let me say
Okay.
this.
Hold on, but when is it? Because I want to make sure the dates line up. When is
All
that?
right.
When is?
The virtual birthday party is March 8th.
Okay.
All right.
This will be out.
So one of the things that our first mentor and Brian taught us is that you don't have to have the product to sell the product. So the reason you just found out about the book, I only got the product yet, for real.
Well, he's in
It's in the
finishing
making.
stages of it. Yeah.
So I listen, maybe not to everything, but I listen. So you found out about it this morning because it's in the process of being made.
Yeah. But he literally started getting orders for it yesterday. He sent it out yesterday.
Okay.
To a few people.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I said, 'cause I didn't get on.
To a few special people.
Okay.
Yeah.
That explains it.
Well, he knew he was going to see you in a few hours.
Yeah, I don't know about that. So, but you mentioned there was something in your ebook, and you mentioned it. And it's like one of the. So, what can you tell us about it? Like, what is it going to be? Things to avoid? What's your ebook going to be about?
You know, I want to just tell you, but I got to find my phone to get my title right.
Okay.
So I know my.
So this is. I mean, this right here. This is just. This is amazing because I think it's right. I think. Y'all have known this because you've been in our mastermind group for many years now, and we've had people come through our mastermind group. I don't want to name names, but I'm thinking, I mean, just 4 off the top of my head that went and either wrote a book or wrote a course or did something to try to get students in or to try to sell something, and they spend all this time and all this money making this thing, and it ends up they never recoup their investment, and then you inevitably end up hearing same people say, "Well, we were just doing it because we wanted to do it." Well, you didn't tell us at the beginning you were trying to make money with it, and you didn't, and you lost a ton of money because you went and built this thing, and then you tried to go sell it. So you made a great point because a mutual mentor of ours is famous for saying, sell it, and then build it. And I love this. I love that you're doing it this way. So it's not even completely built, but it will be out by when?
Well,
you're taking pre-orders for it now.
Yeah, it's pre-orders, but it's not going to be out by March 8th. It's probably going to be out March 16th is what he's expecting.
So the reason that I was saying, I know the title I wanted wasn't the title that Ashley chose. So I don't know what was her final title, but the concept of the book is I am talking about the 9 things that I wish people would have told me before I started investing.
Why only 9?
Because in college I was number 9. So it was just a number that, hey, I like number 9.
So let's not do 9. Let's just put, I want the number 9.
Yes.
So can you give us a few?
Yes. Expenses.
What about expenses?
Tracking your expenses is a big one.
Let's dig into that because I think that's you're running a business here, right? We need to be tracking our expenses, but Antonio, I've got my business bank account, and I've got all the transactions.
No, that's not necessarily.
That's not good enough.
Not good enough. So the one thing that we teach is for every project, you need to have one card that you use all your expenses on
For just that
for
project.
just that project.
So
So
is that a different bank account? or
one,
is that
Yes.
one debit card, one credit card.
So we setting up a whole separate account for just that project.
Now, is this somebody who's a little bit newer to this?
This is brand new.
Okay, so what if I'm experienced and I'm doing 10 at a time? You're not asking me to open up a new bank account for every time I do a new deal.
No,
are
if
you?
you're doing 10 at a time, you should have a bookkeeper that's actively tracking them.
Managing.
Absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely.
This
I'm
is
with you.
more our
This is from 0 to 5.
Gotcha. I'm with you.
yeah. Open up a bank account for each project. Ideally, you have one credit card if you're using a credit card or one debit card, but that's all that go in there. And you put your money in there, you take all your expenses, and once a week you take it all and you track it and you review it.
You look
And
at
it's
it.
it's going to take time.
Yeah.
But you have to sit down and look at it. So that's probably one of the biggest things, because I can't tell you how much money I spent on my first flip for real. I just know I probably put $5,000 on that card, another 10 on that card. Oh yeah, I did my windows for 12. I can't really tell you because
And then I use cards too. So I don't know. Like I use personal credit cards. I use whatever was in my checking account. It was okay, this is the card I got today. You at Home Depot. Okay, use for yep, yep.
yes, tracking expenses.
I think it's one of the biggest biggest mistakes people make,
Yeah.
and I'm completely guilty. Y'all
We are completely
guilty as charged.
When you don't know what's going, especially like you're getting a draw. Let's just use that. You're getting a construction draw, and we have a draw for a reason, right? We're supposed to be paying all these people money. So much money's coming in. So much money's going
going out
right back out
rapidly.
like instantly.
Rapidly.
And it's like, oh, you can look at a bank account and see the number and be like, oh, I'm good.
And then everything
and then all of a
clears.
sudden you're not good.
Quick.
Quick because of how fast things move.
Quick.
So I think it's something like 90+% of adults in America don't have a budget, don't live off of a budget. So it's just that can kind of tell you right there with your coaching students.
Yep.
It's probably 90% of your coaching students don't have an actual budget for their personal lives. So what makes you think they'll have one for a rehab?
Yeah, and then a lot of them don't count it. They're like, no, just do exactly one account, one credit card. And the reason for the one credit card is if they're having business funding. You don't have to pull all the money off the credit card. You can buy the materials off the credit card. You can even pay for some of your contractors using that credit card until your draw comes in, and then you can pay it off. But if you have 3 different credit cards you're using, and then you got another project and you're using those same, you can't properly allocate. Okay, 2 weeks ago when I did this, which house was that for? Which property was that for?
Oh yeah.
And you don't know what your budget is.
I'm sure if y'all are watching this right now, I want you to admit it. Just put it in the comment. Send me a personal message. I want you to admit that where you've made this mistake, because I think it's super, super, super common. Okay, we're at that one. I don't want you don't necessarily need to go through all 9, but I'd love to hear another 1 or 2. Yeah.
I would say leverage.
Leverage. These are 9 things.
These are 9 things that I did not know when I started real estate.
You didn't know to create a budget for your rehab
track expenses.
Track expenses, and you didn't know that you could leverage or
I didn't know
both.
I didn't know the whole concept behind leverage. I always felt like I had to spend my money to do real estate. I didn't understand that there are tools and there are strategies to where I can do real estate without using my own money. I use our own money for the first 6 years of real estate.
Wow.
The first 6 years, all I used was my money. I saved and
Personal credit cards.
used some personal credit cards in there.
Personal credit cards.
But the concept of leverage, and had I been hearing it that whole time, yes. But I was raised that if you didn't have the money for it, don't
You
buy
shouldn't
it.
be buying it. Yeah.
But once I understood the concept of leverage, I understood that paying other people interest isn't the worst thing in the world. Real estate changed for me. So that's probably the second thing that I wish I would have knew when I first started because it'll look totally different now if I was leveraging back then.
And I think we can recognize mindset now because it took so long for Antonio's mindset to shift. Like, I'm like, dude, I think we should be doing another way. He's like, it just doesn't make any sense.
Which is against
It
my
has
DNA.
to make sense. So many people are doing it that way. Like, it has to make sense. And he was like, this is the best way. No, it's not. It's not. And it took years, like, of Antonio, I'm going to fix everything in this house myself. Dude, you're not the best. You can't lay tile better than the contractor. You can't fix this foundation better than you can't. Don't
that
do
was
that.
in the book. I want that out in the book.
That's not in the book. But
Gotta
no,
get that
contractors is in the book.
Contracts. Okay.
So when you say leverage, absolutely, there's financial leverage, and that's vital in real estate. I think I learned that just through Rich Dad Poor Dad when I wasn't even in real estate, talking about leverage. But when you say it now, I guess just because I've been doing this for so long, the first thing I think of when someone says leverage is people.
People, yes.
And time.
Yes.
And being able to leverage. I mean, right now, just from this conversation we're having right now, you're leveraging my audience. I'm leveraging your audience, right? Because we're kind of we're collaborating on a video right now where your folks are going to see it, my folks are going to see it and get exposed to you guys. So just being able to leverage other people's time, obviously other people's money, but just you mentioned even earlier, Antonio, who not how. Ask who, not how. Who can help you?
The whole concept
versus trying to go out and lay tile yourself.
I'm gonna be the contractor. I'm gonna be the builder. I'm gonna be the receptionist. I'm gonna be the designer.
That whole
and in the beginning, though, you have to do those things.
You have to, but
you know what? You don't.
You can get help for a fraction of the cost.
You don't got to do them. You choose to do them. You don't. You do not.
I don't have any money. I don't have any money. I have nothing.
You don't have to do it.
Okay.
I have a lady right now who just did her first property that's hitting the open house next Saturday. Week. And she didn't paint. She didn't do no tiles. She didn't even bring no money to it. But she's in the deal and she's a 50-50 partner. You do not have to do those things starting out. Because she understands the power of leverage. She found the property.
She has talent. So we believe that you have to have you got to have one of the three T's: time, talent, or treasure. Treasure essentially is money. She has time and she has talent. Her talent is finding deals, which I don't think she really knew that she had that talent until other people were like, I'll partner with you. I'll do it with you. And that time and that talent turned into a subject to deal. It turned into her helping someone that needed to get out of a mortgage. And I don't even think it's probably just at 60 days to where they've renovated. It was the end of
60 days.
It may be at 45. It's not 30 anymore, but it may be about 45 days from start to finish to where it's getting back on the market.
And to just her role in it was she found the property. She helped manage the contractors. She didn't paint. She didn't do flooring. She helped manage them, and the property's gonna go back on the market. And she found some partners who had the funds. So I strongly disagree. You got to start by putting your hands on the project.
I prefer you not to put your hands on the project because you're gonna mess it up more than you can help it. Like, you don't have those skills. That's not your expertise. You don't want someone coming into what you do. Like, and I'm just going to use nurses for example. I'm going to use nurses for example.
I just want to know that other one was not a complete thought, though.
I know. I'm going to use nurses for example because it shifted my thought. When you become a nurse, you just can't go into being a nurse without any experience, any training. Like, someone has to teach you how to put those IVs in. You just don't wake up and you know how to put an IV in. That's just not possible. You don't just wake up and know how to work a real estate deal. Like, you need training, you need a partnership, something to help guide you. And laying tile. You just can't lay tile just because you saw it done once. Like, there may be humps that you need to be able to know how to smooth out. You don't know how to do that just from watching a YouTube video. So you need to pay somebody that has that training because you're going to mess it up. I remember Tonio's uncle was working on one of our rehabs as our project manager, and he gutted the whole spot. It was not supposed to be gutted. It was a lipstick project. It was supposed to be in and out in about 3 weeks. He gutted everything. He took out the cabinets. He took out the toilet. Everything. I can do it. I can paint. You can't paint. You can't do none of that. But
Facts.
it's because we feel like it's easy. I've seen it. I've watched somebody do it. You gotta have some talent for that.
I remember when I first got into real estate, the first deal I bought, because I did a couple wholesale deals, but the first thing I bought and I was going to flip, essentially, it was a 6-unit. And I was every unit needed to be fixed up. And these little bitty 750 square foot houses, little itty bitty. And they're all on one, it was 6 units on one piece of property. I went in and I hired a handyman because I didn't know anything. I'm telling you, I couldn't even swing a hammer without hitting my thumb. I knew nothing. So I hired a handyman, and I was literally his gopher for almost a year. I had him for a year.
Wow.
Showing up at that because we had all those houses to do, and I was just, oh, you need something from Lowe's? Let me go get it. What am I? Oh, I'm getting a three quarter. What's the 3/4? Like just the simple, the simple like PVC, like not even know what PVC. Then went down to PEX. What's PEX? Like, what is? I don't even know what it is. I don't know what's a shark bite.
Yeah.
I don't know what anything is.
No.
And he's having to take a screenshot. Here's what it actually is. So I go and I'm looking for this. I'm there for like 3 hours, right? Because I don't know anything. So, but he had the patience. Obviously, I was paying him, but he had the patience to kind of show me just some basic things. And I spent a year learning basic handyman work, basic construction, basic stuff. I'm not talking like how to do an HVAC or rewiring.
Right.
I'm not talking about like the stuff where you need your specialized people. I'm just talking about basic stuff. How to put subflooring down. How to put just
drywall up.
Yeah, drywall. How to mud. How to paint.
How to scrape a cabinet.
What tape is. What kind of tape should you use? What
type of brushes to paint?
All that stuff. And he walked me through. And he was old. He wasn't old, but he was older. He had the patience. I was paying him, and I learned. Talk about learning on the job and getting some invaluable. Not that I ever want to do that, and that's. I think that's the biggest thing I learned through over a year working with him. Is I learned that I'm never gonna do any of that stuff, but I can speak the language. I know what these things are. I know what things should cost about. And it was just such invaluable training looking back on that. I use all that stuff today. This is going back 13 years ago. I use all that stuff today.
Yep. And I would say that one of the reasons that we look at it that way now is we understand the difference between starting a business and basically creating another job for yourself. Like our teaching, our model is we want you to start a business, and a business should be able to run without you. So if you can create a business, yes, it's good to know those things because I know those things too, my bad. But at the same time, you don't have to always get in the weeds to grow your business.
You don't want to get in the weeds.
And just imagine how many deals could you have done if you just was Brian the investor that full year, and not Brian the handyman.
I agree with you fully, but I also know that I needed that year so that I could be better. I didn't have folks holding my hand.
Gotcha.
And then a lot of people weren't teaching rehabs either. They were teaching, okay, this is how you find the deal. This is how much it should be worth. This is what your rehab budget should be, but not the ins and out on, all right, this is the timeline for your rehab. Like nobody was really teaching that then. Yeah.
So, we've talked about, you guys coaching folks, but on the other kind of side of that, you've been coached. You talked about having mentors and folks that have come in your life, and I know y'all been a part of our mastermind. Gosh, it has to be like 4 years now, right? Wasn't it 2021?
I think it was 2021.
So you've been a part of our mastermind. You've been in our smaller group meetings. Just talk about that for a second. I'd love for each of you to kind of like, what does it mean to be in a room of other people who are maybe doing the same as you, or maybe a little bit more than you, and just maybe from a standpoint of challenging things.
It's kind of like an energy boost. Like we feel like the times that we don't go, it's like, oh, we needed to go. Why didn't we go? Like when we're in that room and we're talking about our challenges, we're talking about our wins, we're talking about what we're helping each other through situations. It reminds you of, okay, you can still go. The things that you thought was a challenge, someone else has overcame them. Someone that you're connected with and you're close to. I remember the last one we went to, and Antonia and I were in the car and we were talking about health insurance. And I'm like, here we go, going down this again. But then when we came in the mastermind and you guys were like, all right, so what's the challenge? And he's like, well, since you asked, here's what my issue is. And then it was like, okay, well, here's the solution to that. Well, dog, we didn't even know it was a solution out there for it. We've just been debating it, complaining about it. Like, what we gonna do? What we gonna do? And it's literally a solution, a cheaper solution that's for business owners. So like, that was so much of a breath of fresh air. Like, you don't have to do it alone. There's people that are doing the exact same thing and have the exact same needs that you want, who have accomplished it, or they're working on an accomplishment to get there. So yeah, it's an energy boost, definitely, for me.
If you're watching this video and you don't get nothing else from this video, the cheat code to success is to hire as many mentors as possible, pay for as much education as possible, do as many things that can help expedite your learning curve. And I would definitely say that being a part of the mastermind has done wonders for me and Ashley. And it's done wonders from the point of learning from our peers, being able to talk to others who's doing more than us, to know that it is possible, to understand the process and the procedures they are using to do it. So being around people that's on your level or above your level, or just being in a room to where you can be vulnerable, you can tell people your true things, your true challenges, you can make connections that you can't put a price tag on.
And it's a judgment-free zone, like, because everybody has something that's a challenge that they're working on.
That's interesting thing too. The people that you see out there that you think that they just got it all going on. We all have challenges.
We all have challenges.
All challenges. Yeah. Every for people that want to be great, for every time you get to the top of one mountain,
that's from Brian.
You're at the bottom of another mountain.
Yep.
That's Zig Ziglar.
When you taught us that.
Yeah. Every time you get to the top of a mountain, you're at the bottom of another mountain, and you're going to need people to help you get up. And I would definitely say that for everybody in our mastermind, we have done some type of connection. We have got some type of value. We have really enjoyed the connections in the group, whether they spoke at a meeting, whether we've had lunch, whether we've exchanged contacts. Like, there isn't one person that's a part of our mastermind that has not been an asset to our lives.
It's and just being a part of it too for me is been just to watch y'all, just to see where you've gone from real estate investor. I don't know about that coaching thing, and just wrestling with it, and then here we are. I'd love to just kind of wrap up with this question. Just the evolution of what, just thinking back those 15, 16 years ago when you first got into real estate to what it's evolved into today. And your family has obviously grown in the meantime through that whole time. But just your evolution of where you are, your growth really of first starting until today, and then where you may end up being in the next 5 to 10 years. Just talk about that evolution.
I think the first evolution is when we first started, I was working as an administrative assistant for real at a bank, and I was brand new, like fresh out of college, which is crazy. Just thinking back at it, all the way to, I didn't think I was going to ever leave that bank. Like, real estate was a side hustle. It was a hobby. It was fun to do, but it wasn't, never in my mind did I think I would do it full time. And it literally took me having to be pushed out that door to really say, okay, this is full time. And I remember before that happened, Antonio said, it was like a month or two before it happened. He said, I think this is going to be the year that you go full time. I didn't want to go full time in real estate. I enjoyed delegating. But when I got to real estate, there was nobody to delegate to. It was, you got to do this whether you like it or not. Like, it might not feel good, but there's nobody else to do this right now. You got to make these calls. You can't delegate it to anyone else. It's just you and this computer right now. To now even building a team, to having virtual assistants to help, like getting back to that delegating standpoint to where we're having weekly team meetings. We're having daily meetings on different sections of the business, but then the overall team meeting, like, it's crazy. Like, I don't think, maybe Tonio did because he's the visionary, but as the integrator, I didn't see any of that really transpiring. I saw it always being a mom and pop and not a team.
The evolution. I can't tell you I seen this. I can't tell you that as much as a visionary as I am, that when we bought them first 2 properties from Hudson and Marshall at that auction for $8,000, I can't tell you I seen this. I can't. I mean, it's just the grace of God, having good people around you. The journey has been long.
Tough.
It has its ups and its downs. It's not always peaches and cream. And I made a post today that said, if you ever see a successful person that has created their success, I can guarantee you 2 things. One thing is there's a season in their life that they outworked everybody. Another thing is there's a season in their life that they struggle and you didn't see it. So the evolution is continuing to grow. I see stuff for us from, you said, the next 5 years. But if this is all I do, I'm happy. As crazy as it sounds, if this is the pinnacle, I can't even tell you this was a pinnacle at vision at one point in my time. Like, yes, I want to keep getting better. Yes, I want to keep striving. But I wake up every day blessed.
Y'all have affected so many people's lives for the better that I can't imagine this is the end. Can't imagine that at all.
No,
I don't think it's the end.
Also, I do got one vision.
What's your vision? It's always off the wall. I need my phone for Antonio's
One day,
grand ideas.
It's not that crazy.
Oh, okay.
Well, I do got some. Well, I'll tell you about some of them visions.
You can focus before you forget the other one, the one day.
I want to tell you about this vision first. So, I got a vision to have my last name on a big building somewhere.
Okay.
That's kind of what pushes me. And it's not necessarily because it's my last name, but I want to set the bar high for my kids. And it's for them as they're growing up to see anything is possible. So that's probably my vision. If I'm going to evolve to it some way, somehow, I ain't quite found that roadmap there yet, but I'm going to get there.
Was that the original one or was the second one?
That was the original one.
Oh, okay.
I love how y'all work. I love the dynamics. She kind of keeps you in
all day.
You're up. You're trying to get so high up there. She's trying to bring the realism to it.
Yes. Unrealistic expectations.
It's a balance. I'll tell you, it's a balance, man. Second secret is find you a good woman.
That's the second secret?
First secret is educate yourself. Second secret
is a good partner.
Find you a good mate.
Yeah.
Because a good mate can get you through some things. A good mate can see things in you that you don't see. And a good mate can always keep you level and grounded.
There you go. I think that's a good way to end things.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate y'all so much.
We appreciate you.
Just real quick, how can people find you? How do people, what's the next thing y'all got going on? You have an event coming up. You got an ebook coming out.
Yeah, ebook coming out now. Get that ebook.
And I would say if you want to join the virtual party, you can join the waiting list, www.thedenmarksbday.com. www.thedenmarksbday.com. Once you sign up for the waiting list, if you want to purchase an ebook to support Antonio for his 40th birthday, you can also purchase an ebook. We have a whole list of things that's going on. So if you want to find out what we're doing, just go to our website, www.thedenmarks.us, and you'll find everything that we're doing.
Can we give Brian people something for free?
Absolutely. What
for
do you want to
watching
give them?
this? I mean, I'm asking the questions. That's just I'm here. You got to kind of bring it back and get an
So
answers.
what I'll do is I'll
What
give
you do?
away my ebook for free.
For real,
Yeah. So in the comments,
Brian, she likes you and your people.
yeah, I'll do my ebook for free. I'll do my ebook bundle.
How did I not even know you have an ebook? This is ridiculous.
Okay, so I made an ebook about a few years ago, but it's on how to invest in real estate without using any of your own money. All right. So that ebook will be for free. I would say send Brian the message, and then I'll give him the link, and he'll just send the link to you.
We're gonna put the
We'll put the link
in
in
the
the
description.
Bam. That's what
Links
we'll
in
do.
the description. We don't know what the link is right now.
Yeah.
But we're gonna have it in the next few days because this video.
No, I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you so
Okay.
you can add it there.
Look in the description. We're gonna put that there. Get signed up for the virtual birthday party. Super thankful for Antonio.
Thank you for
Ashley
having
Denmark.
us.
Thankful for you. Thank you,
Thank
Brian.
you guys. We'll see y'all next time.
Peace.
Peace.